That day, when I stepped out of the movie theater for the first time after watching The Matrix, it felt as if I had just woken from a dream that refused to fade. The city lights flickered strangely. The air felt thick with unreality. For a moment, I genuinely questioned, was this world even real? The green rain of falling code still shimmered in my mind, endlessly cascading behind my eyes. The sound of bullet time echoed in my ears. The whoosh of air bending around slow-moving projectiles. Keanu Reeves's confused eyes when Neo asked, "What is the Matrix?" And Laurence Fishburne's deep, hypnotic voice whispering, "You take the red pill, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes." Those words haunted me through my youth. And yet, when I revisited The Matrix years later, I discovered that behind the scenes, there existed a world even stranger, darker, more disturbing than anything we saw on screen. Today, on DCA DHASS Classic View, we are reopening the forbidden files, the untold, unfiltered truths behind The Matrix. Number 20. The original Matrix was too dark for release. The Matrix we know is deep, thrilling, and philosophical, a mind-bending masterpiece. But the original script written by the Wachowskis was so terrifying, Warner Brothers almost refused to film it. In that first version, humans weren't just used as batteries. The machines didn't merely harvest energy. They harvested emotion. Fear, love, sadness, even desire were converted into raw data. People weren't asleep. They were half awake, trapped in a nightmare that kept their brains in constant electrical stimulation, a mental torture chamber designed to produce the most energy possible. One producer described it like this: "It wasn't science fiction anymore. It was horror, a violation of both body and mind." Imagine being alive, but never fully conscious. Your dreams controlled, your emotions harvested, your soul enslaved. Warner Brothers executives were horrified. They said the script was too disturbing, too close to depicting sexual exploitation and neurological abuse. They demanded rewrites. And so the Wachowskis removed the darkest layers, focusing instead on philosophy, identity, and freedom. But if you look carefully, that original nightmare still breathes beneath the surface. The Matrix wasn't just about control. It was about ownership of the human soul. Number 19. Keanu Reeves, filmed with a broken neck. Before Neo could awaken humanity, Keanu Reeves had to endure real pain. Just months before filming, Keanu had a motorcycle accident that fractured 2 cervical vertebrae in his neck. Doctors told him, "No stunts, no fighting. Any impact could paralyze you." But Keanu stayed silent. He didn't want to lose the role. He trained daily 6 to 8 hours of martial arts and wire work while secretly wearing a neck brace off camera. He never complained. If you rewatch carefully, you'll notice Neo's movements rely heavily on hand strikes and upper body power. His kicks are rare. That wasn't choreography, that was necessity. During the subway fight scene, when Neo crashes into a concrete pillar, Keanu almost fainted from real pain. That wasn't acting. That was a man breaking his limits. The Wachowskis later admitted, if Keanu had gotten hurt again, the entire production would have ended. That breath of rain's down, but he didn't stop. His dedication gave Neo that unique style, calm, contained, yet explosive. Pain became part of the performance. Number 18. The naked Neo scene was far more horrifying. When Neo wakes up in that pod, pale, trembling, covered in red slime, it's one of the most disturbing moments in cinema. But what audiences saw was only a fraction of what was filmed. The original take lasted nearly a full minute. Neo struggled violently, gasping for breath, his chest heaving, eyes wild with panic. He coughed, screamed, and convulsed in terror, as if his body was rejecting reality itself. Test audiences couldn't handle it. People turned away. Some cried. Some even walked out. Warner Brothers ordered the sequence cut down, removing the most intense footage. Keanu later recalled, "That slime was real. It was freezing. My shaking wasn't acting. I was numb from the cold." The longer footage remains locked in the studio archives. Only a handful of people have ever seen it. a piece of cinema too raw for the world to witness. Number 17. The cast broke. More than 600 bones. Every frame of The Matrix's action was built on pain. Training began 4 months before shooting, under martial arts legend Yuen Wu-ping. He demanded perfection, not Hollywood choreography, but authentic motion, real speed, real impact. Carrie-Anne Moss broke her ankle during a spin kick, but she kept quiet to avoid being replaced. Hugo Weaving injured his hip and needed surgery. Keanu, still recovering from his neck injury, trained until his hands bled. Even the stunt doubles led by Chad Stahelski suffered countless fractures and dislocations. Crew members said, "We stopped counting injuries after a while. Every week, someone got hurt." That's why every movement in the film feels real. Because it was. The Matrix wasn't just shot, it was endured. Number 16. The subway scene was a real-life nightmare. That iconic fight between Neo and Agent Smith wasn't filmed on a safe set. It was shot in an abandoned Sydney subway station, damp, dark, and crawling with rats. The air reeked of mold, the ground was slick with stagnant water, and the walls were covered in decay. Actors slipped during takes, crew members developed rashes, some even got sick from the air. Laurence Fishburne recalled feeling like they were filming inside a tomb. That's why the scene feels suffocating. The fear, the fatigue, the claustrophobia, none of it was acting. The environment itself became part of the performance. Number 15. The Matrix nearly received an NC-17 rating. When the MPAA watched the early cut of The Matrix, they hesitated. The scenes of metal tubes piercing flesh, red slime dripping from lifeless bodies, and the cold, mechanical violence of human enslavement disturbed them deeply. "This isn't action," one member said. "It's psychological horror." The board warned that if those scenes remained uncut, the film would receive an NC-17 rating, effectively banning younger audiences and destroying its box office potential. So the Wachowskis trimmed the most graphic moments, blurring the line between reality and violation. Even after the edits, many viewers left theaters feeling uneasy not because of gore, but because of an invisible dread. The fear that their bodies might not belong to them anymore. Number 14. The lobby shootout used real guns. When you watch Neo and Trinity tear through the lobby in slow motion, the gunfire feels real because it was. Thousands of blank rounds were fired inside a confined space. Concrete pillars were rigged with real charges, exploding inches from the actors. Shell casings clattered against marble floors. Every gun had weight, every sound had echo, every spark was genuine. Keanu and Carrie-Anne trained to handle real weapons, mastering two-handed grips to absorb recoil. They fired until their hands went numb. The Wachowskis wanted viewers to feel the density of combat, not CGI, but chaos. And they succeeded. That lobby sequence remains one of the greatest gunfights ever filmed. Number 13. Why everything inside the Matrix is green. That strange, sickly green tint in the Matrix isn't random. It's psychological. The filmmakers mimicked the phosphor glow of old CRT monitors, giving every frame a subtle digital poison. When we're inside the Matrix, everything is tinted, green, unnatural, artificial, cold. But in the real world, colors shift to orange, yellow, and red. Warmth, life, truth. The contrast was designed to make audiences feel the difference subconsciously. That tint became the film's visual language, the color of control, the hue of illusion. Even today, one glance at green-tinted imagery instantly whispers, "You're still inside the Matrix." Number 12. Keanu Reeves gave away his millions. When The Matrix became a massive hit, Keanu Reeves received a huge paycheck and back-end profits. But when he discovered that the visual effects and costume teams, those who worked endless hours creating bullet time and digital effects, were underpaid, he quietly gave away a large portion of his earnings to them. Insiders estimate he gave up tens of millions of dollars. Keanu simply said, "Without them, there is no film." In an industry built on ego, Keanu's humility stood out like light in the code. He didn't just play the one. He lived it. Number 11. Switch. was originally transgender. The character switched white hair. All attitude originally had a revolutionary twist. In the Wachowskis' first draft, Switch was male in the real world and female inside the Matrix. It was a metaphor for identity, transformation, and freedom from physical limitations. But Warner Brothers demanded the idea be erased. They feared it would alienate audiences in the 1,990 seconds. Years later, when Lana and Lily Wachowski came out as transgender, that decision made haunting sense. Lana explained, "The Matrix is about transformation, about being true to who you are." Switch's name wasn't random. It was a silent symbol of what the story truly represented. Liberation of the self. Number 10. Neo's endless questions were deliberate. From the moment we meet Neo, he never stops asking questions. What is the Matrix? Why do my eyes hurt? What truth? In the first 45 minutes, Neo speaks 80 lines, and nearly half are questions. He represents us, the audience, confused, curious, desperate to understand. When Neo finally stops asking questions and begins acting, that's the moment he transcends fear. The Wachowskis designed his dialogue as a reflection of human awakening. Because knowledge always begins with a question. Number 9. The hidden drunken fist. When Neo downloads martial arts into his brain, hundreds of fighting styles flash by in seconds. Among them is one peculiar style, drunken boxing, the iconic technique made famous by Jackie Chan. This was a hidden tribute by Yuan Wu-Ping, who had choreographed Jackie Chan's Drunken Master. It was his way of bridging Hong Kong's martial arts legacy with futuristic cyberpunk. For one brief second, the Matrix bowed to the masters of old. Number 8. The code Rain came from a sushi cookbook. The most iconic symbol of the Matrix, the falling green code, came from a hilariously ordinary source. Simon Whiteley, a designer for the film, scanned Japanese characters from his wife's sushi cookbook. Those recipes mixed with reversed letters and random symbols became the code Rain. Every time you see those glowing green characters, you're actually looking at ingredients for sushi miso soup. That's right, the Matrix is literally built on sushi. Number 7. Neo's passport expired on 9/11. In the interrogation scene, when Agent Smith examines Neo's passport, the expiration date clearly reads the 11th of September, 2001. When the movie released in 1999, no one noticed. But after the real events of 9/11, fans revisiting the film were stunned. Conspiracy theories exploded. Did the Wachowskis predict the tragedy? In truth, it was coincidence. The props team simply picked a random near-future date. But even coincidences can feel like destiny. A small, eerie prophecy hidden in plain sight. Number 6. The original ending was hopeless. The first version of The Matrix ended not with victory, but defeat. Neo dies. Trinity fails to revive him. Zion is destroyed. The machines win. The message was brutal. No matter how hard you fight, reality always reclaims control. Test audiences left devastated. Warner Brothers demanded hope. The Wachowskis rewrote the ending. Neo awakens, resurrects, and flies into the sky. That change gave us an ending that inspired millions. But deep inside that first script, The Matrix remains the same. A story about the painful price of knowing the truth. Number 5. Neo's awakening scene was filmed last. To make Neo's rebirth look authentic, Keanu Reeves lost significant weight after finishing the rest of the film. By the time he filmed the pod scene, he was weak, gaunt, and pale. His body truly looked like it had never seen sunlight. He lay inside a real pod filled with gelatinous red slime, trembling from the cold. Every cough, every gasp for breath was real exhaustion. That's why the moment feels so raw, because it was real. It wasn't a performance. It was a man being reborn. Number 4. The city of the Matrix came from Dark City. The haunting, rain-soaked skyline of the Matrix wasn't built from scratch. Warner Brothers recycled sets from the 1998 film Dark City. Both films explored similar themes, simulated worlds, and artificial realities, so the reuse was perfect. By adding green lighting, digital rain, and cyberpunk textures, the Wachowskis transformed the gothic noir of Dark City into a futuristic dystopia. 2 films, one eerie universe of illusion. Number 3. The Wachowskis drew the whole film. Before filming began, the Wachowskis created a massive 600-page storyboard, essentially a graphic novel version of the film. Every angle, every bullet trail, every beam of light was drawn by hand. When they showed it to Warner Brothers, executives were speechless. It was so detailed that the studio finally understood what the movie would look like and agreed to finance it. That visual Bible guided every department, ensuring that the film's tone never wavered. The Matrix didn't just have direction, it had design in its DNA. Number 2. The film was almost canceled midway. Halfway through production, Warner Brothers executives panicked. The footage they saw looked bizarre: green filters, cryptic dialogue, philosophical ramblings, and slow-motion gunfights. They didn't understand it. They nearly shut it down. Producer Joel Silver had to fight tooth and nail, convincing the studio that this film would change cinema forever. He was right. The Matrix didn't just survive. It redefined filmmaking, philosophy, and storytelling for an entire generation. Number 1. Morpheus's sunglasses hid his exhaustion. Morpheus's dark glasses became an icon, but few know their origin. Laurence Fishburne was suffering from severe exhaustion and insomnia during filming. His eyes were red and swollen, impossible to conceal with makeup. The Wachowskis made a quick decision. Let him wear sunglasses. Always. That simple choice gave Morpheus his mystique: calm, unreadable, unshakable. Behind those lenses, he was hiding not just fatigue, but humanity itself. And in doing so, he became a legend. The end. Welcome back to reality. More than 20 years later, The Matrix still feels like a prophecy. Every phone screen, every algorithm, every illusion we live through echoes its questions. What is real? What is control? And if you could wake up, would you want to? Because maybe, just maybe, none of us ever truly left the Matrix. Thank you for diving deep into this journey with DCA, D has Classic View. If you felt the shiver of truth beneath the story, then remember the rabbit hole is endless. Subscribe, share, and stay tuned, because next time, we're going deeper than the code.